Women of Mirzapur. I spoke to Shweta a few weeks ago. So, Rasika, I've already asked her this question. I hope, Chadda, the family is all safe and healthy during this pandemic.
All okay. We had some COVID cases in the close family, but all okay and fortunately recovered.
Very well. Very well done. I'm so happy to hear that. So, the last series just ended on such a tricky note for all of us viewers. What, how, this, that. But I
For
have to
us
say this.
also.
Yeah. And I have to say this for Golu Gupta as well as Beena Tripathi, that the best sound effects of season one came from the two of you. And in the sound effect department, of course, Rasika's character beat your character, Golu, because it happened with you only in the library, but with her it was off and on. So Shweta, you must have been, just the moment one was getting over, you must have already been so anxious and ready and willing to dive into two. Talk about that the jumping in from one into another. Were you even told that you're going to be in two when one was happening?
So when we got the scripts, when we got the episodes, we were told mota mota that what is going to happen and which are the characters that will stay and which are the characters that will be said bye bye to. And I was very happy. I was a part of season two, and that was one of the biggest reasons I did season one, because I knew where my character could go, and that satisfaction that I wanted. Because season one was nice, but it was not as a character and as an actor. Uh, it was not as exciting as my other projects, and I knew that, and I signed up for that because I knew that in season two, if all goes well and if season two is made, the kind of colors, the kind of layers and complexities that I will see will be completely different, will be very different from all my characters, be it Inakshi or Shalu. It'll be very different from them because this world is very different and far away from who I am as a person and my other characters. So when season one was ending, I was just starting my Tamil film actually after that. So, and I think every project, especially for me, is like a relationship. So for a relationship, you need that closure, which happened because we shot the climax. That was the last thing that we shot in season one. Then I went on, did other projects. So when it came back, that is what was exciting because even I'm a fan of Mirzapur, the fan of the acting, the writing, the direction. So I wanted to know what happens. And as an actor, you are one of those lucky people who get to know what's happening in two, and it's a secret that you have to live with. So those readings are very exciting. जैसे जैसे एक वो गरम episode आता था हमारे पास, तो हम जल्दी से पढ़ते थे that what was happening, and not only just with our characters, but with all these amazing characters and the complicated characters of Mirzapur. So it was very exciting. End of season two felt very weird when we were finishing the shoot because it took time to get away from the characters. I can't wait for the world to see it, and I can't wait to see it myself.
Rasika, Beena is somebody who, at one level, you would feel would be vulnerable, but at the other end, she takes what she wants in a lot of ways. And that really embodies the women of Mirzapur. None of these women are cowering and, oh, mujhe bacha lo type of women. And that must be of particular importance to you. The fact that you are in a canvas of such strong women, and yet Beena Tripathi stands out.
Yeah, I thought she was very interestingly written, and I was very relieved to find a character whose desire was acknowledged. And that's very rare. And I don't get to play those parts anyway. So here's a character who seems to, at the beginning of the series, have sexual agency, and like you rightly said, is vulnerable, but she knows how to get what she wants. And so very interestingly written character. And I always say I live vicariously through Veena. Some of the things that she does are things that I might always desire to do, but don't really.
But don't really. So, did this Was there a considerable gap between filming of 1 and 2, Shweta? How much of a gap? And in that aspect, it's like I can only compare it to cricket because that's a sport I follow. Because when you're in a flow in an innings and suddenly there's a break, you have to get back into the motion. It's like getting your physical fitness back after lockdown. So talk to me about that, getting back into the groove of Golu Gupta.
So one thing that really helped me was season 2 Golu Gupta is very different from season 1.
Correct.
But yeah, if you are feeling those emotions and you are living in that world, in that situation, in that environment, I'm guessing it's easier to shoot at one go. But we shot after a year and a half, and then the show is coming out after another year. So when people ask about season 1, वो पिछला जन्म जो होता है ना, वो वैसा लगता है कि अच्छा वो season 1, अभी तो season 2 की भी चीजें इतनी refresh नहीं है because it's been a year. But it is difficult, and that is the fun part, that closure that I was talking about with the project, that doesn't happen because season 1 you've left it somewhere and you come back after a year and a half and you have to pick it up from the same place. So even though you are aging, you are as an actor, you are having different experiences, you are growing, but your character is not. So that to understand that कि वो गोलू अभी season 1, season 2 में भी 22 है, श्वेता की एज वो 3 साल ज़्यादा बढ़ चुकी है, but you have to come back to that. And the choices that you've committed in season 1, you have to stick by those choices. Suddenly Golu can't be talking and moving around differently. So that was challenging, but that is why I love the long format so much, because you have to do your homework. You can't just show, मतलब वो films में भी नहीं करना चाहिए, कहीं नहीं करना चाहिए, but I'm saying long format is definitely more challenging.
So, Rasika, how does this work? I mean, Gurmeet and there was another director. So, is there a showrunner? And then, how did they split up the episodes between the two of them? Director 1 and director 2.
There was no one way of doing it. I don't know. They didn't have a format to it. I think it was just according to shooting convenience.
Does that make a difference when you're a performer? Does that make a difference sometimes? Taking direction from somebody from A today and B tomorrow. Does it make a difference at all?
It does, but not in this case. I didn't mind it at all because both Gurmeet and Mihir were there on season 1, and they were both very familiar with the world, and they are very good as a team also. I've been on other projects where there are directors who've directed different episodes, and I find that difficult because I feel that the first few episodes had a different tonality altogether than the next few. So while it was interesting to hop from one style of working to another on those shows, it's not always the most desirable thing for a performer, So I in Mirzapur, I did not feel like that at all, because I felt, in fact, that they were so in sync with the characters because they'd also been writing it for the months that we were away from it, playing some other roles, that they had sort of wrapped their heads around the characters so well that they were so comfortable that they knew how those characters were hardwired, and they could play around with them with new situations and new circumstances while still retaining the basic quality of an individual, So I think that even though it was directed by two directors, in Mirzapur, I never felt that it was patchy or it felt difficult in any way.
Very well answered. So Ali Fazal has now become a Hollywood star. Even then, he had done Victoria and Abdul, and now the Kenneth Branagh film is happening. Sir Kenneth Branagh. So Shweta, did you make sure that he was the butt of jokes, and sometimes at least pull his leg and say, "Ke boss, tum to ab Hollywood ke ho gaye ho," types?
He is so modest. He underplays it so much that I was more excited. In fact, the poster came out, I took a screenshot and I sent it to my managers and I said, "This is a cast I would like to be a part of. So guys, do something." So, and I think it's so fabulous that even the stories, hum kaise baat karte we talk about people that we worked with. But when he talks about the people he's worked with, and when Gal Gadot tags him, and this, I always message him saying, "What? Like he's too cool." Yeah. But I think he was born, no matter what role he does, he was born to do Guddu Pandit. And this is another thing that I say to him, that I love him. I love Ali Fazal, but I love Guddu Pandit slightly more.
And I love
time back. Sorry.
Once long time back, Rasika?
Months, long time back, I mean, before Victoria and Abdullah released, I met Ali somewhere and I said, "Hey, Mr. Hollywood." Ali got really stressed about it. Ali was like, "Yaar, मैं ऐसा नहीं हूँ यार." In a very Ali Fazal way, like I had just abused him or something. So I was like, Ali, I'm not taking a trip anymore ever about this.
Yeah, I know that there are a lot of people who don't want people in front of them to feel ke boss ye ud raha hai, so they're the other way around. So I think that's what he is. So yeah, Rasika, let's talk about the men of Mirzapur. I mean, now that we've talked about the women of Mirzapur, who did you get along with best on off screen? Are you mates? Are you buddies with anybody? And who to you is the most interesting character amongst all of them? I mean, there's so much to pick from. Let's talk about one first.
So I mostly interacted only with the Tripathis, which is Pankaj
And
and
the great Kulbhushan ji.
and Kulbhushan ji. So and of different generations. So it was absolutely lovely because Munna Devendra Sharma was my classmate at FTI, and this is the first time we had worked together. Pankaj and I had worked together 10 years before Mirzapur season 1 on a show called Powder. And I remember the first time I went for the reading of Mirzapur season 1 with Pankaj. Somehow somebody had sent me a clip of Powder like the day before I had gone for that reading. And I brought it up with Pankaj. I said, I'm so glad to be working with you after 10 years. He's like, पता है मैंने वो scene देखा जो हम दोनों ने किया था. हम दोनों ने बहुत अच्छा किया. So, and Pankaj has this lovely thing where he doesn't feel the need to underplay his greatness, but he does. At the same time, it doesn't look like he's showing off about anything. And I think it just comes from genuine niceness. So I'm very, very fond of him as an actor and as a human being. To give you another example, we were sitting outside set one day and he was reading an interview that he had done. And he said, "Dekho, dekho, ye tum padho." So I started reading it and I said, he said, "हाँ, कभी कभी ना मैं कुछ ऐसे ही अच्छा बोल देता हूँ."
How sweet. So he's amazed by his own performance or an interview. How cute is
Says
that?
it without any, it's just so sweet. It's just never offensive. It's just never like he's showing off. I don't know how Pankaj does that. I think he's just so lovely from the inside that it just like nothing he says is ever offensive. So I'm
But that's
very,
it. That's
very
it. That wasn't even on my question list. But suddenly, because she's brought this up, I need to bring that up with you, Shweta. I mean, it happens with all of us. Sometimes we do something and we say, "Wow, ye maine kiya." Like I remember once I sang karaoke or something, and I was like, "Oh, not bad, dude." So has that happened with you with a part or something that you did inside, and you went, "Oh, Shweta, cool." So has that happened?
So generally, I don't like to see a lot of my work, but interviews I never watch. So something that just
How
happened
sweet.
recently,
That
few
means
days back was-
when I put up the interviews and you're saying nice things, you haven't watched it, but you felt it while doing it.
Exactly. And I think that is the best part because I am so involved while I'm speaking and while I'm listening that I don't need to see that because that is obviously one step further away.
Sure.
This is the best it can be. So 2 days back, I'd done this short film which was directed by Nikhil Naritra. He is one of the writers for Dangal and Gunjan Saxena. So वो मैं देख रही थी, Cheetah and I both were watching, and there was a part that comes where my character is not feeling too good and is emotional. So suddenly Cheetah paused me like, "Are you crying?" So I, while watching myself cry, was crying. And he was like, "Thank God I'm here to witness this." He said, "I don't believe this कि अपना काम देखकर कौन ऐसे होता है."
Allowed hai yaar.
In fact, even
a
while
deep
watching
desire. Sorry.
Yeah.
and while watching Masan, रिचा, विक्की, हम सब इतनी screenings देखते थे कि अब भाई शालू तो चली जाती है उसमें से the next feel कि अब इतनी बार देखनी है, especially after Shalu goes, I used to lose a little bit of interest.
That's honest. What are you saying? Deep desire? Rasika, you said
I
something?
said I have a deep desire to make a film on actors watching themselves act.
Yeah, BTS of that will be very nice, yeah?
It's great. You should
Yeah.
see some actors watching themselves. They're like,
So what to you, would you term as the surprise package of two? Rasika, what do you think we should watch out for? Apart from
Everything.
Beena Tripathi, but if there are any actors who impressed you, stuff, come on, tease us with that.
So I'm really looking forward to watching the three new characters, the many new characters, but out of them, three that Puneet Krishna has introduced, which is being played by Vijay Verma, Priyanshu, and Isha Talwar. So all three very interesting characters, and I'm just dying to see how these wonderful actors have played them. So that's one of my excitement points of season 2.
Yeah, so what can we expect, Shweta, from you?
I think for it's the three of them, they are so exciting. And what is also very exciting is these older characters, Gudu, Beena, AKT, Munna, Golu, Dimpy, to see their transformation. Because I know I've been in scenes with them, and uh, it's been a different journey. Because I didn't have scenes with Guddu in season 1, and in season 2, well, it's a different story. So that those relationships, the two people that I had scenes with, Bablu and Sweetie, both of them aren't there anymore. So suddenly there were new relationships that were formed, on set, off set. There was friendship. There was so much more to discover. So I can't wait to see also the entire Tripathi खानदान का जो गेम है, बिकॉज हम अपनी तरफ से खेल रहे थे. So when you're playing a game of chess, so you know what all you've done and you've seen what the other party has done, but I want to see what planning went behind. I've seen it on paper, so I can't wait to see what the other characters have done, because whatever little I saw during dubbing, I was blown away by it. So
And does Golu use more of the gun? Does Golu use a lot of gun? We have to wait and watch. Rasika, you see, in that aspect, Golu's character and Sweetie's character, you weren't really looking for a backstory that much because it was pretty plain. What happens to them after that is, of course, lots of intrigue. But with Beena Tripathi, you always say, what is the backstory here, man? I mean, she's telling somebody on the phone saying, compromise kar liye, shaadi ho gayi hai, and this and that. Do you look for backstories, or do you just say, let it go, let me just do this instinctively?
Backstory happens on its own. If you've spent enough time with the script, actually, I've realized that you get very interesting ideas of backstories. And all you have to do is read that same script again and again. I don't usually write down a backstory or just like articulate it fully, because I feel that's a little detrimental to a performance where you completely articulated exactly what the character is about. I might have certain events that might have happened in the person's life, but what I feel about those events keep changing from moment to moment according to which scene I am in and what I'm expected to respond to. So yeah, I think if you've spent enough time with the script, your imagination will take you to different backstories. It's hard to avoid that, and it's always desirable to keep it.
Yeah. So, Shweta, have you started going back to filming? Slowly and steadily, the industry is getting back. Do you have any unfinished work that you've started going back to? And how has that been? I mean, how's the experience been? Was there a little bit of trepidation and fear? Or did you say, chalo yaar, dekh lenge, jo hoga, so hoga?
No, set is my happy place, so I couldn't wait to get back to set. But I shot for a day here and there for Mirzapur promotions. But in fact, I'm starting a new project, and they wanted 24th October, and 23rd is when Mirzapur comes out. And I told them that I can't. I won't be able to do another character the next day, because I will be so consumed by Golu and Mirzapur that it won't be fair. And I don't want to start a new relationship like that. So there is, and I'm very excited for it. So I think we get done with promotion on 27th, 28th, and 29th, 30th, I'm shooting for my new project, finding a new character, and I'm shitting bricks because it's so important to read your script, and I have to do that. But Mirzapur and Golu are extremely demanding, and happily, I'm giving all my time and attention to that. But yeah, the backstory of that needs to be found soon.
Rasika, my last question is, did you at all know that this is going to be such a cult show when you signed it? I mean, some actors have gut feelings and intuition. Some actors don't even bother because they say, why should I take a chance at predicting whether this is going to be cult or not? Apna kaam karo, nikal lo. So I mean, look at what it's become. I mean, there are Mirzapur fan clubs and people talk about everybody from Golu and Beena and Kalin Bhaiya and Guddu. Did you at all know that this is going to become so massive?
Not at all. Even if somebody had told me, I would have been suspicious because because this is very difficult to imagine that something like this would get the kind of fans that it has. The way they follow everything about Mirzapur, the content they create every day on social media to remind everybody around them about Mirzapur, it's crazy. And I had never imagined that. I mean, in fact, when I had signed on for season 1, they had said that, in season 2, we imagined this for your character. And I didn't even believe that there would be a season 2. I was like, who knows? Today, let me think about what I'm going to do on shoot and what I feel about the character and the script that's given to me. I mean, okay, all this season 2 and all is okay. And that time it wasn't common practice. This is one of the initial web series. So I didn't even know whether there would be a season 2, and season 2 was not a very common thing. So no, I had never imagined this. All of this has been a very pleasant surprise, and I think right now I'm just warning myself that maybe I'm getting too addicted to it.
Let's see if you're still written in 3. Um, take that one, Shweta. I mean, you must be tired of people asking you, when is Mirzapur 2 coming? When is Mirzapur 2 coming? Even when you're doing other stuff, and now finally you have an answer. Psh, here it is. So
Yeah.
while you were shooting, while it was progressing, let's say episode number 3, 4, 5, 6, by the time you reach closer and closer to the 9, did you get a feeling that, boss, something big is at foot here? Or were you like Rasika, saying ke pata nahi yaar?
नहीं तो there was a lot of expectation, not because of the scale of the show, but just expectations that we have from ourselves. So that was the most difficult in the sense that you don't want to let yourself down. You don't want to let your cast and crew down. And what was the most fun part about shooting Mirzapur season 2 was the cast and crew, they all were equally invested. That even if we weren't there in each other's scenes, it mattered. It mattered कि बीना का वो सीन कैसा गया या फिर कोई नया कैरेक्टर आया है तो वो we wanted to make sure that they are comfortable and they feel at home because we felt that Mirzapur is our set. And I remember going on set on day 1 and Guddu wasn't there and I was missing him because I was shooting with these new characters and I was like, where are my people? Mere dost kar hai. And then when he came on set, you feel like your best friend is back just because you've shared something that the others haven't. Because I know शादी में हमने जो what we witnessed, that emotion we felt. So that was very precious. But there are 2 times where I've had this feeling. I always like to underplay, as you know, and I don't like to expect much. During Lakho Mein Ek season 2, I remember calling up, messaging a very dear friend of mine who's at Amazon that we are making something special. And when we were doing season 2, I had the same feeling that we are making something special.
Ah, lovely. Ladies, thank you so much. Thank you for just keep on shining the way you are. I mean, both of you, I remain fans. I remain waiting and eager to see you guys on screen again and again and again. Thank you very much for the joy and stay beautiful, Rasika
Thank
Shweta.
you.
Bye bye. See
Thank
you.
you.